Hey, what's up, everybody? Marcos Villegas for Fight Up TV here in Carson, California, being joined with Gabe Rosado. Gabe, I want to preview a few fights coming up with the biggest one so far of the year, September 14th. Canelo taking on Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah.
You're Puerto Rican. Are you rooting for your fellow Puerto Rican? Or are you rooting for Edgar?
You know what I mean? It's a fight that I know both fighters. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a fight that I just want to see a good matchup, man. I'm not really going for anyone. You know, I just want to see Edgar Berlanga come and really mean business. You know, he's been talking a big game, so I just want to see him back it up.
Now, with this fight, I know he's seen as the underdog, given Canelo has so much experience, has fought at the highest level for such a long time in his IQ, but what are some things that can really give Canelo trouble in this fight that Edgar does possess?
Edgar doesn't have anything that Canelo hasn't seen. You know what I'm saying? But what Edgar needs to do is, I feel that he needs to probably take Canelo by surprise and apply pressure immediately. Not try to warm up into the fight. Maybe get a good warm up in that locker room so once you're in that ring, you got a nice sweat going on and you can just start right from the rip. You know, because if he plays chess with Canelo, you know, Canelo's just too experienced, too sharp for that. And then Canelo being the older fighter, even though he's still fresh, you know, he's going to pace himself in the beginning where, you know, I feel that he needs to use his youth and just apply pressure, you know. But if he goes in there and he tries to play chess with Canelo, it's going to be bad.
You know, him being the younger fighter, what are some other things that he could do potentially to give Canelo some fits in there? Maybe, you know, he's catching Canelo at the right time.
Well, you know, I don't think it's that he's catching Canelo at the right time because Canelo just dominated Munguia. And, you know, Munguia, this is, you know, is one of the top fighters in the division. So, you know, I think what Berlanga has is he does have the punching power, and everybody has, you know, anything's possible when you have power. So to be able to land that against Canelo, you have to be really crafty, but I feel like he has to just apply pressure. And that's his best bet, man, is really going in there with some effort and just take no for an answer. You know, if he goes into, you know, playing the boxing or whatever, Canelo's really good at cutting off the ring, and he's really good at attacking the body.
To you, Gabe, you know, looking at it, is Canelo the bigger puncher or is Berlanga the bigger puncher in your opinion?
I think Canelo's the more experienced puncher. You know what I'm saying? Because power is power, but, you know, if we go on a gunfight, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just shooting my bazooka, boom, 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 and I mean, I might have, you know, the other guy might have the Uzi, he might have the AK, he might have the shot, he might finish you with the shotgun. Yeah. Canelo knows how to switch up that speed, where Berlanga's just shooting that shotgun. And that takes experience to understand how to switch speeds, how to throw decoy shots, how to just lift you up with an uppercut just to set up the hook to the body. So there's things that Canelo's the more dangerous puncher because he knows how to set it up better, especially at this level.
Now, when you look at Berlanga, do you think he does give Canelo like a very good competitive fight? Because I know many fans out there aren't giving him a shot whatsoever in this fight.
We don't know. That's what we're going to find out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna find out a lot about Berlanga. We already know about Canelo, and we already know what Canelo brings to the table. But as far as Berlanga, the level of competition is way different than what Canelo has faced. Canelo has faced Hall of Fame fighters, champion after champion. This is Berlanga's first champion that he's ever fought. So, you know what I mean? It's like, what does he do with this level of competition? Because, you know, there's some fighters that they fight at the level of whoever they're fighting, right? You know, he was fighting guys that he was just knocking them out in the first round. And he got challenged later on where fights went the distance. So this time around is like, is he able to use that experience now to then put it all together against the hardest fight of his life?
You know, we saw in the Munguia fight, Canelo take it easy. I don't know. Do you think he took it easy on him?
He took it easy, man. I think he was dominating the fight to the point where he kind of said, you know, I'm not going to give him any free shots, and I'm not going to open up where I give him the only opportunity he has, which is land something clean out of nowhere. So I think it was just playing it safe where it's like, okay, I'm in full control of this fight. Let me just keep coasting and keep doing what I'm doing and play it safe rather than let me go for the kill against a young, strong fighter in Munguia who has no quit in him, who, that was Munguia's only opportunity was for Canelo to engage with him where then Munguia might land something. You never know. So I think he was just being a veteran and just playing it smart.
Yeah, I brought up the Munguia performance thinking, like, do you think Berlanga does better than what Munguia showed in that fight with the Canelo that, I don't know, I don't think he's going to coast because of the trash talk that's been going on.
That's the mystery. We don't really know. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, man, we haven't seen Berlanga challenge with a world-class fighter yet, with a world champion. So, it all depends. I really don't know. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see him go into the fight and just put it all in the ring. But we'll see what happens.
With you, Gabe, you being a guy that fought everybody, man. You didn't care who it was. Yeah. You didn't care how many weeks' notice. You took on every single comer. What do you make of the fans not being happy with this fight and saying, hey, you know what, Canelo, we want you to fight David Benavidez. Why isn't this the David Benavidez fight?
Yeah, well, I think it's just a business move. I don't think Canelo's ducking Benavidez. I think Canelo put himself in a position where he can do this. He fought all the top guys. He beat champions, champion after champion. So he's in a position where he's like, yo, if that's the fight y'all want, that's the fight y'all demanding, then this is the kind of bread I want. And, he's proven that he is he generates the most money in boxing. So I think a fight that is so everybody wants to see it is going to generate that kind of money. So I think he'll probably get the money that he's asking for. I just think it's a business move. I don't think he's ducking. And at the end of the day, Canelo is one of those fighters where, people might be not enjoying the fact that he's fighting. And I'll take that back. Not that he's not enjoying, but people might want him to fight, Benavidez, but they're still going to tune in to watch him fight Berlanga because it's like when I was growing up, Tito Trinidad was my favorite fighter, and I was a big fan. So it was like no matter who Tito fought, I don't care. I was supporting. So at the end of the day, Canelo fans are loyal, and they're going to watch anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure you probably heard from the fans with Tito, rematch Oscar, so it's kind of like you can, I don't know, I guess you never win when you're in that position, right?
Yeah, for sure. And, like I said, man, I don't think he's ducking, man. I think it's just he's in a position where he has to make the smartest decisions. He's in his mid-30s, so it's all about setting yourself up to come out of lead a game the way you want to lead the game. The odds of fighters doing that, being in control of how they leave the game, it doesn't happen. Most of the time, the ring retires you. You know what I'm saying? It's not you making the decision when you want to step off. So for Canelo to do that, that's a unique thing, and that's a special thing. And, not many fighters have done it. Floyd is probably the last one that did it.
Andre
Ward. Floyd and Andre Ward are the only ones I could think of that have really left on their terms.
Very true. Hey, just curious, because I spoke to Caleb Plant about comparing the power of Benavidez and Canelo. And he said, hey, they're both very different. David puts his punches together. Canelo, he did punch harder, but he does things that are good for him, and David does things that he does well on his end. You looking at it objectively, who would you favor in that matchup between Canelo and David?
You know what I'm saying? It is one of those fights where it just depends on who dictates the pace. Benavidez, his game is to overwhelm you with a variety of punches. But then Canelo's game is to take away your weapons with the slipping, the dipping, and the countering. So who is about timing? Because if your game is offense and my game is slip and counter, it's hard, and they're both great at it. So, it's one of those matchups is why it's so desirable and people want to see because no one really knows who could win that fight. I think Canelo is definitely the top guy at 68. I would probably favor him a bit just because maybe for Benavidez to drop down at 68 at this point will probably be a little depleted. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a really big guy. But who knows? It's really one of those fights that just has to happen.
Given how Crawford looked against Madrimov, and him wanting the Canelo fight, I don't know, is it a smart idea on his end, or is it that, each fight's different? Madrimov is a lot better than what people gave him credit for. Yeah. Terence would still look good, still has a shot against Canelo, moving up 2 more weight classes.
Yeah, Madrimov is, he's an unknown as far as the public they don't really know him. But boxing fans know that he's actually a really good fighter. You know what I mean? And he presented a lot of, difficulties for Crawford. But I favor Canelo in that fight just because of size, speed. You know what I'm saying? He's the younger fighter out of the two. I think Crawford's 2-3 years older. So, and then for Crawford to move up in the weight class that he's never fought in, you definitely just have to give size matters in boxing. And even though there's certain guys that are so special that they're able to move up in weight and still be great, it's different because if you think about it, right, when Roy Jones moved up in weight and won the heavyweight championship of the world, it wasn't against the best heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and when James Toney did it, man, it's hard as hell. So I don't even want to make it sound like I'm discrediting it. But he didn't do it against the best heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? When James Toney did it, but if Crawford was able to do this and move up and beat Canelo, that's the top guy in the division. It's just different. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's anything's possible in boxing, but I just favor Canelo.
Okay. Yeah, it's a thing where, like you said, you think the talent could bridge the gap and make it more competitive. But seeing how I don't know, I was surprised that Madrimov landed the punches that he landed.
I was, the thing is with Madrimov, he's so tricky. He gives you feint. He'll feint you 4 times before he throws. So it's like, when you going to throw? And it's like, that kind of throws your timing off. And, I think that's what he was giving Crawford a hard look. You know what I'm saying? But, it's 2 different styles as far as him and Canelo. And like I said, I think Canelo's probably too powerful.
No, on an ending note, Gabe, I don't know, for some reason, you know what triggered it is because Gennady fought here, and I was just wondering, we're talking about power punchers. Can you describe the power of Gennady in his prime? How was that power compared to all the other fighters that you fought?
Well, you know what I mean? He didn't knock me out. So, you know what I'm saying? It was a fight that got stopped in cuts. I just think it was one of those things where I moved up in weight. So I was just a smaller guy at the time. You know what I mean? I was 154-pounder. He was a 160-pounder in his prime. And that's just really what it was. It was the inexperience. It wasn't really that he hit me with a shot and I was like, oh, man, I've never felt this kind of power. It really wasn't that. It was more the experience. It was more, I was more I wouldn't say overwhelmed, but I was more impressed with the experience and the way he would switch up speeds or the jab and things of that nature.
He wasn't. Well, he was a big puncher, but I guess how did it?
He wasn't. If you think about it, Golovkin wasn't wasn't a knockout artist. A knockout artist is a guy that hits you with one shot and puts you to sleep. Yeah. Golovkin was a break you down fighter. You know what I mean? Like a one punch knockout artist is like a Wilder. You know what I'm saying? A one punch knockout artist is like a Dudang or something like that, right? One shot could put you out. But Golovkin was just a guy where he knows how to place his punches and set you up, and most of his knockouts came from breaking guys down. It wasn't that he hit you with one shot and it was over.
So who was the biggest puncher so far?
The biggest puncher, the punch that I felt the most was Bektemir when he hit me to the body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a punch that I went. I took a knee. I got back up and knocked him out, but he was like a vicious body puncher, man. So that was probably the hardest shot I've ever felt.
What'd you feel in that moment?
No, it's just a shot to catch you in the liver, bro. It knocks the air out of you. Your legs go weak. And, I was able to just use my experience and bounce around the ring and then realize the round's about to be over. So I took a knee just to buy myself more time to just recover from the shot. And then that was that.
What goes on through your mind, though? It's delayed from what I've heard from other fighters, but then, what happens in your mind?
No, in that moment, I just knew that I knew he was powerful. So what was going on in my mind was like, okay, you knew this was going to happen. You trained for this. You prepared for this. Take your break and then come back in the next round. Because I kind of knew he would land that shot. I'm like, that's his money shot. It's going to land eventually. I don't know how. He put me down. But when you mentally prepare yourself for anything, you're good to go. You know what I mean? It's the punches that catch you by surprise that maybe you don't give a fighter respect and you don't respect his power. And the next thing you know, he catches you with something. He might buzz you. And that's the kind of that's when you're in trouble because you mentally didn't prepare yourself for it.
Interesting. Yeah. Hey, Gabe, good chatting with you. Appreciate the time, man. Gabe Rosado, Marcos Viegas here in Carson, California. Thank you guys for watching us over here on Fight Up TV.